I think, he's obviously a guy we're going to use a lot this year, and it's constant tweaking and thoughts and bouncing things off each other. How does he like it? How do I like it? How has he done it in the past? How have I done it in the past? And yeah, so that'll continue as long as we're teammates.
John Macaroon.
Hey, Jared. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We've had a chance to talk to Jamal Williams. I'm definitely curious to get your excitement level, potentially throwing to him and Swift out of the backfield. Seems like it's going to be a big part of this offense.
No doubt. Yeah, they've both been special up to this point. It's been fun working with them. I know Jamal loves to bring that energy. It's always fun being around him, and Swift in his own way too has been great. Good 1-2 punch. They kind of feed off each other. They're competing at the same time, but they're competing with each other and together as well. So it's fun to see, and they've both done a tremendous job at this point.
Yeah, and then one final thing for me, just your early thoughts on the rapport and chemistry you're building with this wide receiving core.
Yeah, it's been great. It's something we've been working on even prior to coming out here. So we went out to LA and had some work out there with the guys, and it's been fun. Anytime you get to have new teammates and have that chance to build that rapport is something I always enjoy and always have. And a lot of really good guys, a lot of really good players, and it's been a good time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Tim Twentyman.
Hey, Jared, good to see you again. I also have a receiver question. John kind of took mine, but I'll expand upon it. Just there's no real established guy in that room, and it's kind of a revamped room. Just what does competition do for a position group like that when it looks like there's an opportunity for a bunch of guys to kind of step in and maybe, take the reins of that outside spot? Do you notice that competition and maybe a little bit extra juice because there's so many open spots there?
Yeah, I think so. I think you do notice that, there's your veterans like Tyrell and Brashad who have been doing it for a while, but everyone else for the most part is relatively new and young and is battling for spots, and as well as Tyrell and Brashad. They're always, competing, but you know what I mean? Like those young guys, it's fun to see, and it's really cool to seeing them, work. And, Amon's been extremely impressive for a rookie, just the way he shows up to work. I think Victor's done a great job. Just these young guys that have really stepped up and made plays.
Justin Rogers.
Hey, Jared, we kind of talked about the change of scenery and the value of that when, you were acquired. You seem like a pretty intrinsically motivated dude, getting the receivers and the play, the weapons out there in California with you. But how have Dan and Brad and Coach Lynn, how have they kind of got the investment, the ownership in being kind of the guy here and maybe recharge your batteries?
I think just like you mentioned, anytime you get a change of scenery is always kind of a fresh start and a breath of fresh air. And I said this, I think maybe earlier, but it's kind of like there's a lot of guys with that. Obviously, the coaching staff is brand new. It's a whole bunch of new players. I'm obviously a part of the new player regime. Got a lot of young players as well, and it's a lot of fresh starts. So that kind of energy is kind of all around the building. But I think in regards to myself personally, Dan and Lynn have really empowered me to kind of, what do I want? What do I like? How do I want to see it? How do we want to do things? And are constantly bouncing things off me, and I'm constantly bouncing things off them. And I think that's been a healthy relationship and something that's been fun for me to experience and be a part of, guys that, are really, wanting to hear from me and wanting to hear what I like.
I know you're more about looking forward than looking back, but how different is that than maybe what you were used to in terms of the empowerment and is it to a greater degree maybe than?
I'm not saying that in any regard to previous experiences. It's not. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it's been great. Like I've had experiences where it has been like that and where it hasn't, and throughout my career and even in college. And I think here so far it's been the positive side of that. Of they want to know what I like. They want to hear from me, and they're constantly talking to me and informing me, and we're working together to build this thing the right way.
And then, I mean, just in general terms here, it was an off season of just kind of thinking about everything, right? Like it was the trade and the talk leading up to the trade and the talk after the trade. Now that you're out there on the field slinging it a little bit more, like just what does that feel like? What is it a weight off your shoulders? Do you feel like this recharge? What is this last couple of weeks been like getting out there on the field and putting it into action?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think I always kind of was thinking that too. You go through your head in it for a while. right after, and then as you get closer to being on the field with these guys, it goes away, and all you're thinking about is football and being on the field, and that's why you play the game, for the fun of it and for the love of the game, and to be out there with the guys every day. And I think since I've been here in the building, it's been a really fun, positive experience.
Let's do 3 more questions, starting with Eric Woodyard.
So, Joe, how you doing? Eric, we are ESPN. For you, man, you talked about them empowering you in Detroit, but what's the difference? You play for, lots of coaches. What's the difference between being on a coaching staff where it's a lot of NFL experience? Have you noticed anything different so far? I know it's still early in the process, but top to bottom on this coaching staff, a lot of guys have played in the NFL. Like, how different is that, having that type of, that type of experience around you?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I've had former players coach me in the past, but never this many. And I think it's cool. It's fun. You got like Randall L. He played at a high level for a long time and knows what he's talking about. And the same way for everyone else. But as at the receiver position, he's done it, and you've seen him. He's done it. Deuce, he's done it. Hank, he's done it. Dan obviously has done it. Aylin has done it. Brunel, all these guys have done it at a high level, playing it. So it's easy to communicate and easy for them to understand it from a player's view.
Have you had a moment at all yet, just personally, where you benefited from I know it hasn't been that long really starting a lot of things, but has it been a personal experience that you had just yet with these guys that kind of show, hey, they know what they're talking about. They played on this level?
Every day. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can think about one. It's every day, and every day being coached by these guys, every day bouncing things off each other. It's a constant work in progress, and it's a constant collaborative effort. And I think that's what's been the best.
Jay Burkett.
Hey, Jared, good to see you again. I just want to follow up on one thing that Justin asked first, the empowerment within the offense. Since we weren't around you last year, how much more say have you had in forming this playbook than you had last year, and what does that mean for your confidence?
I don't want this to turn into, I'm saying this in regards to anything that happened in my past. It's been fun to be a part of that, I think. And there were times where it was like that in the past, and there weren't times where it was like that in the past. It's a little bit of both, but for this to start off on that foot, I think is the best thing I can say. It's been fun. It's been really cool. And I've had a lot of fun having that ownership and being able to really, use my strengths and use my knowledge and use what I know, and at the same time continue to learn from these guys.
Can you give us some insight then as to how that comes about, right? I mean, we just have this vision of like the coach has a playbook and here it is. This is what you're running.
Yeah. And there is, of course, a lot of that. I think, there is a system in place that they're putting in place, but at the same time, there's a lot of, asking, on little details. Do you want it like this? Do you want it like this? Or furthermore, I go to Aylin or Dan and tell them I feel a certain way about something, and they either agree with me or they don't. But it's a good conversation, and usually pretty collaborative.
Yeah. The other flip side to what you said about having so many new guys is that I guess it takes a while for those new guys to mesh. So you've had those sessions in the off season. You've been here for a couple of weeks now. Where are you, and where is this offense at versus maybe where you need to be by the start of training camp, I guess?
Yeah, it's a constant work in progress. We obviously have work to do, and anytime you're in a new offense with a new scheme and new players and everything, there's always work, and there's still work to do, a ton of work to do. But we got our eyes on the 49ers and, finish up this week strong and get ready for training camp.
And then very last thing, are you planning any more summer throwing sessions with the guys? Is that in the works, or do you just kind of wait till camp?
Yeah, I don't. We'll see. Probably at some point. I don't know. I haven't thought about that, but I'll make sure you guys are invited.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Michael Hara, last question.
Just one last thing about the newness angle, a part of it. Obviously, you talked about so many new people, and this is new to them, but it all comes back to the quarterback. I mean, all eyes are on you. So how important is it for you to have the answers when they're trying to sort things out and lead them in the way you want to lead them?
I'm sorry. Ask that one more time.
I don't know if I can ask all of that, but I'll try.
Sorry.
We were talking about the newness angle, and so many people, this is new for so many people. So how, all eyes go back to the quarterback. So how important is it for you to have the answers to lead them the way you want to?
Very important. Very important. I think, as a quarterback, you always kind of have to be that leader, but anytime it's a new system, it's even more so. These guys are going to have a lot of questions, and the more times I can have the answers for them, the more they're going to trust me, and the better ownership I'll have of everything, and it just snowballs into each other. But to answer your question, yes, it's very important.
Great. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, everybody. That's it for today.
Thanks, guys. See ya.